Hello, hello.
Hey guys, happy Mother's Day to everybody. This is Karen here, your favorite virtual assistant. And we have
Gail, I'm here. Hi, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. Whether you're a biological mother or not, you're still a mom to someone somewhere.
yes, indeed, that is correct.
Mm-hmm.
So this today's live is gonna be what's the biggest lesson your mother taught you, right? But I told you about the story yesterday, Gail, so I want to share it with you guys because this is a story. This actually was what made my day this morning because this morning I was not feeling the best. I woke up a little sad. So I thought about this morning. I just started cracking up. So I figured I'd share with you guys too. All right. So pretty much when I was about, I think maybe 12, right? 11, 12 or something. I came home from school, right? And my mother was cooking and everything. And I was just telling her, oh my, this is kid in the school, my classroom actually, that he had like green kind of eyes. So I told her that I wanted green eyes. So she so she goes and she tells me, "Oh, you want green eyes?" I said, "Yeah, I want green eyes." So she said, "Just put a drop of lemon in your eyes, and your eyes would be green.
Okay.
Your eyes would be green." Me being, me being 11 or whatever age I was, I didn't think about it, right? And plus, my mother's telling me this, so why would I not do it? I go ahead and put one little drop of red in one of my eyes, and it started burning. So I started going, no, like, why would you tell me to put this in my eye when it was gonna burn? So she goes and say, Karen, do you eat lemons, right? Because I normally before I would eat lemons like that. So she was like, so when you eat lemon, how does it feel? I was like, it was sour. It's sour. She said, so why would you think to put that in your eye? So she goes, I said, well, you my mother. You told me to do it. She was like, yes, but I want you to think. And why would you want green eyes? You're not, God didn't give you green eyes. Be happy with pretty much the eyes. She was pretty much saying, be happy with the color of eyes that you got and be
Mm-hmm.
appreciative of those eyes because some people don't have vision.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
in the same sentence, she was like, pretty much to think, even though she's my mom, yes, but to think for myself, did that make sense, right? And I didn't get the message. I was really, like, I was really bothered by that And then when I got older, and me and her was just talking and joking about it, I said, "Ma, do you remember the day that you told me to put the lemon in my eyes?" And she was like, "Yeah." So we were just laughing, and I was like, I should have called CPS on you. I said, "Cause that's child abuse." She was like, "Well, did you get the lesson?" She was like, "Yeah." I asked her because now I ask like a lot of questions now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess the lesson was taught, to listen and appreciate pretty much the way I was born.
And
So
how
I
old were
mean,
you? How old were you?
I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
11 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I tell you like that. My mom, the way her lessons are, it's to somebody who's be like, that's horrible, and it was horrible at that time, but it's a lesson you're going to remember.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
gonna
And I
be
think
memorable.
at 11, you're not at the age where you're going to push back. You're not a
you
teenager.
know.
I find teenagers argue and they always have an
Mhm.
opinion. When
Yeah.
you're 11, it's like, I'm going to just do it, even though it sounds weird. As a teenager, you might be
Yeah.
saying, lemon, are you sure it's lemon? Oh, mom, you got to be joking, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, but not her. She was like, I told you, why would you do it? I'm your mother, but I want you to think, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you told me to do it. But it
Oh,
was,
but
I
that's
mean, at
funny.
that time, it wasn't funny, but years later, we laughed about it. We joked about it. I was like, I should have called CPS on you because that's child abuse.
Yeah. And what did she say?
No, and she just looked at me like, girl, you wasn't going to call nobody.
Right. You weren't going to call anybody.
I was not going to call nobody. Even I wasn't. I'll be
Yeah.
lying to you. I was not going to call nobody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what about you? I mean, that's one of the many lessons. It was the way it was taught was a little abrasive, but you know what? I remember that,
Yeah, of course. My
and I
mom
remember that
wasn't,
lesson.
yeah, my mom wasn't really a give advice person. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
remember her saying, "Don't ever be a follower." You know that one.
Mm.
If all of your friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge too? Kind of thing.
Yes.
So her thing was never be a follower. Always have your own mind. Think
Yes.
for yourself. Do your own thing. Which I know she said, but other than that, her advice was more watch what I do. and learn
Mhm.
from what I do. So, for example, you know, it was hard for us. We weren't exactly rich per se. We weren't
Right.
that poor, but things were tough for us.
Right.
So her thing was, it's tough. Going to the supermarket might be an issue. So we had a garden. So we grew a lot of the stuff that we
Oh,
ate. You know what I mean? So her thing was, try to find a way to make it work.
wow.
If you can't afford to buy your veggies, you can always grow them. And we give away a lot of stuff as well. So always remember, you might
Mm.
not have, but there's somebody that might have less than you. Always give and give. Don't give to get back. Give
Right.
from your heart,
Yeah,
and it will come
definitely.
back to you. I think her other lessons were like faith. Always have faith. So for her, don't be a follower. Always find a
Mhm.
way to make it work. And there is always a way. And then if you can't see a way, lean on your faith. And she had amazing faith, so that when we had the miracles that happened, she would always say it's because of our faith, because there was no other way out.
That's a powerful. That is very powerful. Lesson
Yeah, a
to
lot of
to
the time.
give.
And we watch our
Yeah.
moms a lot. We watch our moms a lot,
Yes.
so we're
Yes,
not
we
looking
do.
really for what they say. We're watching to see how they interact with other people, how they're
Mhm.
living.
Mhm.
I saw my mom, we go to church and I would see her on her knees and she was praying, but I would see a lot of tears, and I
Mhm.
know she was frustrated about a lot of stuff. Because marriage is not easy for some people, and
Right.
eventually she and my dad, they separated. But
Right.
you watch and see how your mom lives her life, and you take your
Yeah.
lessons from her life, even if
That's
she's
true.
not verbally saying, don't be like me, or don't do this or don't do that. You watch, you learn more from, I guess, from watching. And then as a parent, you have to remember too, and I don't know if you've ever had that experience. Growing up with the older folk, you'd hear, do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
They would always say
That's
that.
true.
But
That's true.
you're still watching to
Yeah.
see what they're doing, and you're saying, okay, but they're doing that, and she's saying don't do that. So how does that really work?
That is
the
true.
the young people of today, like my son, he's not about do as I say and not as I do. He's watching. I'm saying, but
That's
I
true.
saw you do X, and now you're telling me to do Y. How does that really work? So we're having, different kinds of conversations, and it's not like be seen and not heard. That was another one. You need to be seen and not heard.
That I remember
I don't
that.
know if you've had that as well. Be seen and not heard, but you
Yeah.
don't have an opinion about anything. You're not
Yeah.
working. You're not paying any bills. You don't have an ID number. You have no say. But
Yeah.
it
Oh,
doesn't work that way.
yeah.
No, everybody has a say. So that's been interesting, with my mom. I see somebody in the chat is saying save for the future, and I know you and I talked about that. Your mom always
Yes.
says, save for the future.
Yes.
and
She,
and I think our
mhm.
moms are amazing. My mom could get $10 from a dollar. I could never understand, how did
Yeah.
you do it?
Yes. Like my mom, I agree with you on this. This like she was big on saving, right? And a lot of it was you don't have to save a lot of money. You could start with five
Hmm.
dollars, right?
Hmm.
$5, put it in the side, forget about it. And every week or however you get paid, put that $5 to the side. And by the next thing you know, you have $200 saved up, $300 saved up. So she was
Yeah.
big on saving. But me growing up, I don't remember my mother being upset. Like, yeah, upset, yes, but I'm talking about crying. Because I know now as an adult, right? I realize I see that life is hard. It's
Hmm.
challenging, right? Even for myself, because I don't have no kids. But I could imagine, because I have sisters and family members with children, and I see how life it is for them because with a child you're responsible for everything and etc. Right? But I never remember seeing her crying because she was
Hmm.
stressed out because of life matters, life circumstances. And
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
she did in her own time, in her own way by herself, you know? But me being the oldest, because I'm the oldest of two other sisters, I don't remember her seeing her crying because she's
Hmm.
frustrated because maybe she couldn't pay the rent or she was tied up on the rent or try to put food on the table. I don't remember that from her.
Hmm.
So that's something that I always, now that I can talk about it right now, I don't remember that, but part of me is still like that, right? Because you just do. You just know
Yeah.
how to do. You just know how to make things work. Um,
Hmm.
But my mom was big on doing the best. Whatever you're gonna do, whatever it is you want to do, always be the best or try to be the
Mhm.
best at it, right? Do your best effort, put your best foot forward. And even if you didn't get it 100% correct, but you did your best. So you can live with that. Right? But she was not a stickler one, especially for us when it came to school. If we did the bare minimum, she would be pissed because she knew
Mhm.
that we could have done better.
And better. Yes,
Right. And
that's correct.
I was that kid girl. I was always trying to find a way out of it. I was always trying to find I said I didn't like school because we was always boring. Right? I wanted
Mhm.
to learn other things. But she was always like, that's one thing she was big on, doing your best, trying to do your best. And even if you don't get it 1,000%, but if you know that you did your possible best, then you could be okay with whatever the outcome is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's she was a big on that. She always tried to strive to be the best in everything that she have tried to do in her life.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I always keep with me. I mean, now things that I really do want to do, but when I was a schoolgirl, I was trying to get out of school, trying to make up that I was
I
sick
think no,
today,
we
that I had
all
a
were.
stomach
We all were.
pain.
Who likes school? Who likes school?
School was
No
so
one likes
boring to
school.
me.
Yeah, but they knew the importance of education, and I think
Yes.
especially as women of color, our opportunities weren't the same for other
Mm-hmm.
people. So
Yeah,
education was
that's true.
normally the best way to get out of whatever situation you were in and to make your life a little better. So you're correct. They focused a lot on education because
Mm-hmm.
they knew how important it was. So in addition to the financial stuff, and they didn't only save, they were consistent and they were disciplined. Because I could save. I could
Yes.
put you $5 this month, next month, and the next month, and the next month. But you see, month six, I gotta
I'm
spend
tapping
some.
in.
I got a bill. I got a bill. I got a bill. I got to
I'm
spend this
tapping in.
money.
That's
And it
yeah,
just
that's
sitting
true.
there and it's sitting there and it's calling my name.
That's
It's calling
true.
my name. So I found
That's
she could
true.
save, but she was disciplined
Yeah,
and she was
definitely.
consistent. That money was not going to be touched. And I don't know what you call it in the US, but
Mm,
our mums here in the Caribbean were normally part of meeting turns. So a meeting turn would be like you have 10 people, well, say 12
mm-hmm.
people because it's 12 months in a year, and everybody would agree on an amount, a monthly amount. So for ease of calculation, let's say it was $100. So each of these 12 people would give $100, which is 1,200, and it would go to one person in January,
Is that like a
and then
susu?
it would go Susu. Okay,
Okay, so
yes.
we call it a susu.
So
Okay, so it's the same thing.
everybody, all of my grandparent, my granny, my great granny, my mom, my aunt, everybody was in a Susu. And that's how you saved as well.
Yeah,
But you couldn't touch it. You couldn't touch it
that's
because once you
true.
got your $1,200 or whatever it was, then the next
Yeah.
month you had to put in your 100 because now it's Karen's turn or
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
Bill's
remember.
turn or
Yeah,
it's
huh? That's
somebody
susu.
else's turn. It was amazing, and they could also. So it wasn't only making $10 from a dollar. They could get things to stretch, Karen. I don't know about your mom.
Yeah,
Everything used to stretch. The food
that
used to
is
stretch.
true.
The clothes used to stretch.
Yes,
Everything. Everything
yes.
used to stretch.
And yeah, especially for us because we have like she only have girls, so for her it was easy to buy me and then
Yeah,
rotate it
and
down to
hand
the other
down, hand
two,
down, hand down.
right? To the other two and all of that.
Yeah,
So it
a
was
lot of
easy.
hand.
I guess it was easy in that way because she has two other kids, daughters, so then they could share each other's stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, my mother, she definitely parents. I mean, moms are something very special. They sacrifice a lot.
yes. That was the word I was gonna use. I saw she
Yeah.
went without a lot for herself
Mm-hmm.
so we could have. I didn't
Yeah.
see her buying new stuff until
Mm-hmm.
we were practically grown. Even going to the
Yeah. Me
hairdresser,
too.
she would do her hair herself. Is only after we grew up and we left home that then she would go to the hairdresser, or we would eat out, or there was a lot of stuff that she sacrificed on our behalf, which
Yeah.
is moms are usually very selfless. Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They can. Yeah, they are. Even for even like we was talking about this earlier, and I was saying every not. I mean, mother's special, but any person that plays a pivotal point, right? Any
Hmm.
woman that plays a pivotal point in a child's life, it's
Yeah.
to that child, that person is like a parent figure.
Hmm.
For us,
Hmm.
it was my first early years in my life was my mom and my aunt. My mother's sister, they tight. They got, I wish
Hmm.
my mother's not
Hmm.
here, but they still tight. And even down to this day, I see my aunt as my mother figure because she always
Yeah.
been in my life since I was young, even not as an
Mhm.
adult. She's always
Mhm.
been there for me. So to me, that's like my second mom. Now that my
Mhm.
mother's not here, but it was funny thing because I was telling my aunt when we was back in the trip, I was telling her, when we was younger, right? It was my aunt has three daughters and just like and two other boys, twin boys, and then my mom had us three, so in total it was 8 kids in the house. So my
Mhm.
mother, they helped each other out, however they helped each other out, that's when we was younger. And it was my mom with 8 of us, cooking and cleaning and we all helped out in the house. But I was telling my aunt, now that my mother's gone, is you with 8 grown kids plus the grandchildren now.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
point that, it's like the roles are different, but I think anybody that plays any person that plays an important role in this child's life, to that child is a parent figure, even if it's an aunt,
Agree.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. It's normally an aunt. It could be it could be a granny.
grandmother, yeah, whoever.
And I find it could be an extended person in the community as well because,
Yeah.
as I said, here in the Caribbean, too, a village sometimes raised a child. Who you stayed by after school could have been, somebody from the church in your neighborhood. Not necessarily even the church, but there were a lot of mother figures that really look after the children.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I agree. Even like somebody says, one mom lesson is to be good, and it will come back to you, which is true.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because if
Yeah.
you do good things are gonna come to you.
Yeah. And
So
Joseph is saying, just be you. And that's such a big one because, especially today with social media, it is so easy not to be you because you don't know. You're afraid of being you because you don't know how people will react to the real you. So it's better. I guess you and I talked about that too, Karen. The imposter syndrome. It's better to try to be somebody else based on what's going on in social media because would people really want to know the real you? Would they even like the real you? But it's better to be authentic and be you, and the
yeah,
people who really want to be with you and love you will be there for you. We're not going to be for everybody. We can't be. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea or coffee or wine or rum or
you,
whatever it is.
that's true. My
Just
mother,
be
that's
you.
true.
And if somebody likes coffee and you are the coffee, they will be for you.
Yes,
You just cannot be everything to everybody, even in business. It's not only for you as an
yeah,
individual,
that's
but when you
true.
step out for entrepreneurship, you can't be everything, for everybody. So that is a really good one from Joseph.
Yeah, that's true. Like my mother would always say, "Are you not $100 bills? Everybody gonna like you."
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Excuse me, and that's true. I am not $100
Um,
bills.
Actually, so I know you did a poll on LinkedIn. I don't know what results you got, but interestingly enough, what somebody told me the best advice their mom ever gave them was when you marry the man, you marry the family. That is
Ooh.
interesting. Is a fact.
So
As somebody who was married, that is a fact. You don't just marry your husband. You marry your husband and everybody else that he close to in that family, and it's like, geez, Tom.
yeah, but what I mean, that's a big comment for another day. But because I mean, it shouldn't be that way, right? It shouldn't be you marry one,
Hmm.
your
But
spouse,
there are
you
lots of
marry
there's a lot of mother-in-law stories out there, Karen. Why do you think they're that? They're
girl.
there because when
Listen,
you marry
listen.
the
Don't
man,
get.
you marry the family, aka it's his mom, his dad, his sisters, his brothers.
But it's, I
That was
mean,
interesting.
it's nice to have a relationship with the whoever you're marrying family. That's a beautiful
Uh-huh.
thing. Don't get me
It
wrong.
is
But it doesn't
until they
always.
start giving you advice, and they're always in your marriage.
It
And
doesn't.
hello, we
It
can talk
doesn't.
about that for another live on a Sunday. Like, what happens when you get married? Who are you really marrying? Are you only marrying the person you're getting
That's
married
a
to?
good
Are you
live. Maybe
marrying
we
all
should. So I
the
want to hear. Maybe we should take a poll to find
others?
out who. Maybe we should
Uh,
take a poll to find out who would be interested in this conversation because that's a very
yes,
good one.
it
And
is.
also, you also share tips on how to remember your parent, your mom, right? I think that's a good one,
I did.
Gail. Like
Yes,
like for example, like you and I, our parents, our moms are not here anymore, right?
yes,
But
no,
I feel like this is something that anybody could be used
it
for.
is.
So
Yeah.
how do you remember? How do you remember your parents, or how do you honor your parents? or
Yes, if
your
your
mother in
mom
this
is
case.
not with you, and you know what you will find too, especially if you're close to your mom, it doesn't matter if she passed away last year or the year before or 10 years ago. Somebody on my poll said their mom had been gone 30 plus years, but it felt like
Mm-hmm.
yesterday for them. So
Mm-hmm.
my thing is, there are different ways you can remember your mom and you can keep the traditions alive.
Yes.
So if she loved going to a certain restaurant, especially on Mother's Day, what does she like to do on Mother's Day? If she liked to eat at a certain restaurant, you can go there with your siblings. If
Mm-hmm.
she liked baking a certain, certain dish or a certain cake, you can prepare that. If she loved gardening, somebody else said their mom loved gardening, so every year she plants a special flower in her memory, which is
Mm-hmm.
lovely because every year she's
Yeah, it
gonna get
is.
different flowers. Somebody says they buy a bouquet of flowers and go to her gravesite and they spend some
Mm-hmm.
quiet time with their mom every year. And my thing is, if your mom liked special music or she had a special song, you can have a dance party in her honor all by yourself,
Yeah.
or you can sing her
Yeah.
special songs out loud. If she liked exercising, like my mom like walking and stuff, so later on I might run a 5K. Maybe I might run a 5K in her memory. I've already been to church. So I also said you can
Okay.
make a donation to a charity or like a shelter in her name. So I went to church this morning and I already made my donation in her name.
Okay.
So there are different little things you can do to keep her memory alive. Like my mom loved driving in the country, so you could take a drive and drive the same route
That sounds
that
nice.
she would have taken. So just little things you can do to keep her memory alive in your heart. But I find Mother's Day for me is normally hard because I miss her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And as I tell people, if you have your mom, make sure you love her and hug her up and
Yeah.
make her feel special all year long, but especially today because you never know when she won't be with you, and you don't want to live a life of regret saying, I didn't get a chance to tell my mom I loved her. I didn't get a chance to take her somewhere special. I just thought I'd get back to it, and then you never get back to it. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, if you have children, your children are watching you too. So how your children see you treat your mom is gonna
That's true.
transfer to them, and they're gonna use that as the example in how to treat you.
That's true because we all gonna get to the elderly. Hopefully, grace of the universe of the God or whatever each person here believes on. But I know one thing is true: we all gonna get to that stage of elderly. We all gonna get to that aging process, right? And we
Hmm.
all want to be treated. I don't like I say I'm not. I'm sure parents will hope that their child will be there for them, right? When they
Yeah.
get to that golden years. So you want to be treated with love and honor, respect and caring and
Mhm.
consideration. So
Yeah.
you should treat your parent like that because, like you mentioned, kids are watching that, right? So
Mhm.
if you don't treat your mother and your parents well, in this case, mother, can we talk about mother, right? If you don't treat your mother well, then your kids might not treat you good when you get to that age in life
It
because they're
is true.
going based on the things that you see. So
Mhm.
I think it's important to, just as something just for food for thought for anybody out there.
Mhm.
Treat your mother the way you want your kids to treat you when you get to the golden years, right?
Mhm.
Because right now, like for you and I, for me, example, I don't have the ability to have a conversation with my mother. I don't have the ability to take her out for dinner, right? I don't have this because those are not there for me anymore presently. But if you have the ability to do that with your parent, do that with your mother. Show her while she's alive, right? That you respect and love and honor her. Because when
Mhm.
she's gone, you're going to think back and say, we are all on borrowed time in this world. We don't
We
know
are.
how long we're borrowing, but we all on borrowed time.
Mhm.
So, right? So while you here, make the best of it with your mom.
Yeah.
This is why I say my biggest regret is that I didn't get to know her as a woman, not as the way I see her with the lens coming from a mom. Because that's how we see our parents as parents. But we
Mhm.
forget that before there was parents, they have their
They were
own
yeah, they were
identity.
normal people too.
Yeah, so get to know that person
And
as
that
a
is true.
person.
You and I did talk about that because I remember you were saying one of the conversations you regretted not having with your mom was about
Mm-hmm.
her dreams and what did she want to do when she was growing up and what was her life like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true for me as well. We were so busy trying to live that we
Mm-hmm.
never thought about having those kinds of conversations. So like tell me, mom, what did you really want to be when you when you grew up? Did you really want to do what you're doing now? How did life
Right.
change for you? What was your idea about marriage? I mean, I know it wasn't
Right.
what it turned out to be for her in the end, but what did you think it was going to be like? Did you really, how many children did you want? We never had those kind of conversations.
Right. Right. Those.
So I agreed with
Yeah.
you. And you don't think about it. You'd have to actively, I guess, as an adult, say to yourself, you know what, before my mom leaves me, let me just encourage her to have these kinds of conversations and
Mm-hmm.
maybe let your children be there so they can learn more about their grandparents as well.
That's
And
true.
before I forget this thought, I was talking to a guy about his mom, and he was saying, interestingly enough, he was taught how to treat his mom by watching his father treat her. Now, if you understand, now his father was married to
Mm-hmm.
his mother, so his mother is not his dad's mom, but he said, the respect. And at Mother's Day, he would make sure the children treated, did their special stuff because she was her mom. So, it goes back to you have to lead by example.
Yeah,
Children, we can't
that's
assume
true.
that children know what they're supposed to do unless we actively go there and teach them.
That's true.
I
I
thought that
that's
was interesting. He watched his dad, and that's how he learned how to treat his mom. I never thought of that actually.
No, but I mean that's a good. I mean that's interesting, but that is true. We definitely learn, and for us, at least for me, my mom, right? She always be like, "Karen, I need you to go to the post office and make the rent, pay the rent. Oh, make the money order." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "There you pass the post office when you was coming home from work, right?" But the
Yeah.
lesson was not from like she knew how to do that, obviously. But the thing
Yes.
was like for me to learn how to do that myself because one day I would
Hmm.
have to do it. She always put certain things. She put me in certain environments so I could learn certain things. And when I was
Hmm.
younger, I was like, "Oh, this is annoying. Like, why do I gotta do this?"
Correct. A lot of things we had to do was annoying. Annoying.
Right? Yeah, it was
Annoying.
annoying. Like, why I gotta go do this? Why I gotta go?
Yeah.
But now as
Yeah.
an adult, I understood. Now I get what she was doing.
Yeah.
Now I
What was
get
she
she was
doing? She
put.
was teaching you responsibility and
There you
accountability,
go. Yeah,
and that life
exactly.
life is about choices, and there are consequences for your choices.
Yeah.
If you don't clean, it's gonna come back to bite you. If you don't
Right.
take out that garbage, is not going to be pretty. So there were lessons they taught
Yeah.
us, which we thought were annoying. I would have chosen
Yeah.
a different word, but I'll stick with annoying. But yeah.
Yeah, because that's how I felt at the moment. I was like, why I gotta go do this? Like, do I really gotta do
Yeah.
it today? But yeah,
So,
so we only have a few minutes. But do you
well,
want to add anything before we
yes,
close?
I
Yeah.
wanted to say quickly, Winston in the chat is talking about honesty, and I would say yes, your mother always talked about honesty, not only for
Mm-hmm.
when she asked your question, it had to be the truth, but generally in life. Um, So remember I had told you I did this poll, and these are things that right? Somebody says if you don't, their mom said if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. We all know that. I'm sure your mom told you that as well.
She did.
Didn't she tell you that? If you don't have something nice to say about
Mm-hmm.
somebody, don't. And I think my mom also warned me about rumors. She said the person who comes to you and brings a story will probably take your story back to somebody else. So be careful about those. And yes, and um, Cheryl is saying, in life there are rules. We hated rules. I hated rules, but
Me
they were trying to
too.
teach us that in life there are rules. What else did
Yeah.
you get on your poll? Like what did people tell you when you did your poll?
I didn't really do. I don't know. I don't have it up. I didn't really look at. I didn't really. I should have pulled it up, but I
Okay.
didn't pull it up.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
basically all moms tend to tell their children pretty much the same thing because everything you hear that these people told me, my mom had told me, except when you marry the man, you marry the family. That one was interesting, and I really have to think about that. Was it correct?
yeah, yeah, for real. I agree. We
Oh yes,
definitely got to
and
think
don't talk
about
about
that.
others negatively in public places.
Yeah,
That
my
one,
mother.
you don't
Yeah,
know
she.
who's listening, and you
You
don't know who knows who.
you don't know who knows because this word is very small. We think it's
Yeah.
big, but it's really not.
Did your mom tell you that as well?
Yeah, don't talk about
Okay.
people.
In
If you
public,
somebody
yeah,
talks about you, they're gonna, like if you tell somebody something and they go tell everybody, then they gonna tell you. For example, like if
yeah.
somebody is talking about somebody else, they eventually will talk about you too, right? Like that type of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And you see that
somebody
comment that
says,
just came in from
"Happy birthday,
Claire?
Karen." Yeah, happy Father's Day. Karen told me, my mom told me that life is tough and not to take everything straight into your heart. A grain of salt. That is true.
That's
A grain of
totally right
salt with
there.
everything.
That's a good one, Claire. I
That's a good
agree.
one. Mm-hmm. I
I
agree with
agree.
Claire.
And Charlotte saying, do you find that you talk like your mom? Or do you, I guess you talk like your
That
mom,
is,
behave like your
I
mom. Sometimes people
I
will say, oh, but
do.
you look so much like, or you behave so much like your mom, you know?
Yeah, it's like honestly, you don't realize, right? We don't realize as
We
we get
don't.
older, we start picking up things and talking like our parents,
And behaving
right?
like our parents.
Yes, we don't realize that, but that's to tell you that these people have a very strong, pivotal,
Influence on you. I
influence in our
agree.
lives, and we
Yeah.
don't realize that. But now, my mother
Mhm.
loved plants. She always was big on plant scale, flowers and plants. She loved planting. She loved growing. That was been her thing. I hated that because first of all, I have allergies, so I don't have time play with no plant. But now I like plant. But back then I was like, oh Lord, my allergies about to start kicking in
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
now, for some reason, I'm really enjoying the plants and having plants in the house and watering the plants. She would talk to the plants. And the funny thing, a few days ago, I found myself talking to the plant. I'm like, wait, what are you? When did you start talking to the plant?
No, that's funny.
Like, when did you start talking to the
But you
plants?
have to talk to your plants and they will grow. If I tell my plant, if I don't see any blossoms or anything on you by tomorrow, that's it. And then you get blossom. Right. It
You
works.
better threaten your plant people.
I threaded my plants and they work. They work.
You better threaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
This
listen, today
this was
life
a
was
good life.
phenomenal.
Thank you for everybody who participated.
Yes.
We had a great time. We hope everybody enjoys the remaining part of their Mother's Day.
Yes,
Um,
please.
and if you have your mom with you, don't forget, love her up more today than normal. And
Yeah.
anybody too that's played a motherly role or influenced you, make
Yeah.
sure that you reach out to that person. But I would say all year long, try to remember the people who are close to you because time is limited, and you don't want to live a life of regret.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I
You have
agree.
any
Listen.
closing thoughts, Karen?
Yes, my closing thought is Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody in the comments and engaging with
Yeah.
us. We are here every Sunday at the same time, 12:30. Next week topic is going to be we're going to bring in a guest who's going to give us some,
Mm-hmm.
tips on confidence and how to be awesome. So,
Yeah.
thank you for watching once again and go out there and, spend time with your mom, whoever you consider dear and important to you. And see you
Bye, everybody. See you next
guys.
Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.